Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and MScribe, and today we got a track update.
Sure do, dude.
Good old Benny comes in hot with an extension here.
An extension of what, dude?
To BRC20s.
Okay. That's interesting already. So, man, yeah, BRC20s, dude. When we first stumble onto that? It's been months, right?
It's like
March-ish. That's whenever Domo incepted the BRC20 standard. It took off pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
Eventually became like $1 billion market cap within like a few weeks.
Yeah, the market cap when we saw it was like 23 million or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was baby, dude.
And then like 3 weeks after that it was $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then ever since then, the market is pretty much like settled into like this 200 to 300 million dollar like range. Mostly because there's probably like too many limitations as far as like what you can actually do with the BRC20 token.
Well, it was expected, right?
Yeah.
Nothing goes up forever, right? We expected a retracement, and now it's like all the devs are discovering BRC20, and they're like, what can we do with this? And it turns out not a whole lot.
Not much. Right. So then we pretty much declared, right? It's like, okay, that $1 billion threshold was like, that was like the eureka moment, I guess. It's like, holy shit, we could build a whole fungible ecosystem on top of Bitcoin.
Right.
Unisat did very well. Apparently they're like raising funds. At least that's what's leaking through the grapevines. I'm not sure if that's actually true or not, but so there's an ecosystem forming, but after this leg up is like an infrastructure period so that we could do things with like actual utility, not just have like a meme token economy, right? So this is a good example of that, right?
Yeah. So let's take a look at what this extension proposal is. So they have a tweet here, and it says, say hello to our new website and to the TAP protocol and track.network. So here's our new website. It looks really clean. Talks about indexer, tracking, and API, composable governance, release, and partners.
So the governance is interesting because this is probably one of the first like BRC20 tokens with a good governance utility to it.
Correct.
Which obviously was like a major force in the last bull run. It's like most of Ethereum DeFi.
Yeah.
The main utility was like, you could vote with these things, right? So you have ownership of the protocol essentially.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's funny you mentioned that because I don't know if there's a lot of projects on BRC20 actually building a product, a protocol, a project.
Yeah, I would say.
And so many of them are not useful for like voting.
There's nothing to vote on, right?
Yeah.
But this is one of the few projects in the ordinals ecosystem, BRC20 specifically, that with like some sort of service or functional good that's being manufactured here in real time that developers can leverage to build their own stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And it's already happened with the whole bitmap thing, right?
Correct. And so let's introduce this TAP thing. So TAP is an extendable or DeFi enabling protocol that includes but is not limited to the TAP token standard. So TAP works entirely with the use of L2 chains on other overly complex mechanics, but utilizes tapping, a simple mechanism to verify transactions within the protocol. The goal of TAP is not to replace or compete with BRC20, but instead embrace it and allows for new features that will be consistently added to the protocol. So the tickers include 1, 2, and 4, reserved for future interordinal bridging between BRC20 and TAP tokens and cannot be deployed on TAP.
So it says TAP a lot, obviously. But the last time we were introduced to that term was during the parcel inscription phase, right?
Correct.
So there's a tapping mechanism where you send your bitmap to yourself.
Yes.
That is how you validate
the parcels within that bitmap. Correct.
And that's how, Track has been leveraging that mechanism to, I guess, keep things in order. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So now I guess they've extended that functionality to a whole ecosystem now, right?
The whole BRC20 space.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the specs here, and we'll explain all this in a second here. But as mentioned above, TAP tokens work in exactly the same way as BRC20s. There are, however, a couple of minor modifications required for indexers. So BRC20s consist of 4 letters. The protocol is called BRC20. Deploy operation is called deploy. Mint is called mint. And transfer operation is transfer. TAP is essentially the same thing. Instead of BRC20 is TAP, we got token deploy, token mint, token transfer. So here are the examples. So basically you want to deploy a token. You use the protocol TAP. the token name, in this case is TAP, there's 21 million, and then limit supply is 1,000. So you basically set these parameters. But then you can mint. So people who want your TAP token, they mint up to 1,000 per inscription. And then transferring. So if I want to send you tokens, I use this transfer function. I send you 100 tokens, and that's what that looks like.
Okay.
So
pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. So up here, he says that there's external and internal operations.
Okay.
So I think you put it perfectly when you explain external and internal, because there's no smart contracts. There has to be external, which is the JSON structure, and then there's internal functionality where people read this JSON structure and they do something with it.
Okay.
Right? And so that's what this means. So internally, there exists a new function called token send, which enables mass transfer of different tokens to many recipients. So this is what this looks like. So if I wanted to send my TAP token to 2 different people, I use this inscription JSON structure, and I send 10,000 tokens to this address, and then 10,000 tokens to that address. And you inscribe that, and Trac, the indexer, indexes this information, and then this inscription basically sends you that 10,000 tokens.
Okay. All right.
And so this is new functionality, right? You couldn't do this with just a BRC20 standard. So the whole value here is that we have like an extended version of BRC20.
Right now, with this one like internal,
this one new functionality.
New function, that's just the present state, I guess, of the TAP protocol.
Correct.
Right? But the idea behind it is.
Did you know that we're more than just a YouTube channel? We also built MScribe, the first inscription platform built from the ground up for the metaverse on Bitcoin. Connect your bitmap ordinals and use our tools to bring your community into the virtual realm. Support us by joining the movement at mscribe.io. Like, comment, and subscribe for the latest alpha. Back to the video.
I guess the community can introduce, I guess, like an infinite variety of different functions if necessary, right? If the market needs these different things. So it's just like introducing like a very flexible and dynamic like BR, or not even just ordinal standard, I guess. Yeah, because this can be utilized for, I imagine, almost anything, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, in our last podcast that came out this past Saturday, we were talking about this concept, digital matter theory.
Yeah.
And it's a way to recognize patterns within the Bitcoin blockchain, and you can inscribe those patterns.
Correct.
And so maybe that makes sense to create an operation instead of token deploy. It's like extract.
Yeah.
And you're extracting those patterns from your own bitmaps as BRC20 tokens.
Yeah, and the value of this is whatever that mechanism is in order to enable something like commodities to exist, or the DMT theory. So you're gonna have to go back to our podcast to understand what the hell we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're gonna release like an actual full video about this stuff, because we really want this idea to proliferate. Somebody to like run with it.
Yeah.
If us or a community of people driven together to like build something like this.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Like we could leverage a system like this in order to get like the proper indexing in order, right? Because this is going to be a very data intense.
This is definitely
ecosystem.
A data engineer's exciting moment for them.
Correct. So in order for like this ecosystem to emerge, where you can identify patterns within like the information stored on a Bitcoin block. And then you can now sequence that and however you want, and then generate like this its own independent like ticker instead of like arbitrarily creating one. Like that is the difference between an arbitrary and a non-arbitrary asset, I guess.
Correct.
You just assign, I want to create, PayPay 420 blaze it coin, because now you could have a bunch of letters according to this standard, right? You're not limited to just 4.
Yeah, I think the limit is up to 32. If I saw it somewhere.
I think you're right.
Yeah, 32. So 3, 5, and 32 to 32. Yeah.
Okay, so for whatever reason, 1, 2, and 4 are excluded. But 3, 5, and then any number of units above that. So that's the arbitrary version of creating like a new digital asset, right?
Yeah, 1, 2, and 4 are excluded because this one had up to 4 letters, and so from an indexer standpoint, you won't be able to distinguish a TAP token versus a BRC20 token.
I got you.
Yeah.
So it can't be 4. And then 1 and 2 are just too small.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. So then, so the arbitrary version is, I'm going to create PayPay420, or I could, run this sequence through all the Bitcoin block data and see how many PayPay420s, I don't know, show up.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. In the information of Bitcoin, right? Now I can create like a ticker.
Yes.
That's not arbitrarily generated.
It's beautiful.
And like an actual supply that's also non-arbitrarily generated, right?
Yeah.
And then, that's kind of like, this is like the...
See, the only thing I would add here for Benny to take note of is instead of setting a max, well, I think you still have to set a max, but yeah, I guess, this is correct. Because I was thinking of like available supply, but that is indexed and tracked by an indexer, right? Okay. So yeah, because like you're saying, if you have PayPay420 and you find it, 1,000 times and people inscribe it 500 times, well, the available supply is 500. Mm-hmm. The max supply is technically infinite because there's always new blocks, right?
True.
But the available supply is 500, right? So
correct.
But I don't think that needs to be added here. So
no, it's just an example. I guess like there's a little bit like engineering here that has to be done in order to figure out like what is the right structure, I guess, for these internal mechanisms, right? In order, this is just one use case example of that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the cool thing about this, right? You could think of anything now.
Yeah,
and not be so limited to just a very rigid token standard, which BRC20 is at the moment. So
yeah, and that's I'm glad you brought that up because BRC20 was created by Domo. Domo's off doing a million different things right now, and so there's no real extension to BRC20, and so Benny takes the reins here and says, I'm going to take the BRC20, extend it a little bit, and add different kinds of functionality with the tap tokens, with the tap types of tokens.
So what has to happen here, dude? So this is a good idea for sure. Obviously, it introduces like more vectors of utility.
Sure.
We could do more. So I guess developers have to show up and like actually start, creating new ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the community itself has a role within this, right? The governance utility now for the Trac token itself. I'm assuming some sort of like voting process is going to have to come about. I don't know. I don't think that's been like really laid out in this specific Git book, but if that's the mechanism, the process to like implementing new internal functions, then that's gonna be an interesting one, dude. Because we've seen how DAOs operate, dude. It's a
mess.
It's a mess usually. Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah. So this document and the tracking for the tap protocol would be continuously worked on and updated. So feel free to join the Discord.
There you go.
So I feel like that's the starting point for all conversations.
Yeah.
But ultimately, think of it a BRC20 but extended.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be extremely useful because, like you're saying, like we could leverage this in a million different ways. And it's going to be up to the devs to decide like what kind of operations is needed. Maybe it's like a swapping operation. Or liquidity provision, right? Mm-hmm. So all this stuff needs to be part of some sort of extendable standard so that we can grow. So yeah, let's see. I don't know if there's anything else. So on the website they have a way to track tap balances. So you type in your BC1 wallet, your Bitcoin wallet, and then it starts tracking. It shows you exactly how many tap tokens there exist. And so here we are with the latest mints.
Doesn't look like what's going on.
Oh,
here.
These are the cursed versions of Tap, right? Tap has already been minted out.
Oh,
all 21 million tokens have been minted out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like the ordi or what? Of like this
potentially, yeah.
I guess that's the speculation, right? This is the first. So a new standard has been, thrown out into the ordinals ecosystem.
Yeah.
By Benny and the Trac Foundation, whatever.
Right.
And then this the first token, I guess. What's it called again? Tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the ordi of this specific ecosystem. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you happen to get in on that, first batch mint, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good position to be in. For sure.
This was just released like yesterday or something.
Yeah, and it freaking minted out that quick, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we got some hardcore followers of the Trac ecosystem.
Absolutely. All right, well, this is something to keep an eye on for sure. So yeah, we haven't done an update video in a while. The last one we did for Trac was their official partnership with Bitmap.
Yeah, that's when it was like 5 cents, 10 cents or something like that.
Yeah, it did quite the explosion afterwards. Yeah. So yeah, I think for this specific, initiative to, explode, we're gonna have to see some developer adoption for sure. Like this tap ecosystem.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see new tap tokens.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got a developer like Benny supporting it. I think you're gonna see a ton of tap tokens with like new functionality.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Oh, this is, I guess Ordinals just got a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
I've got a whole new token pool to keep an eye on now.
That's
dude.
right. That's right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I guess full disclosure, we do have some track tokens, but not enough to be like, to matter.
Permabulls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the only reason we did is because we identified like, it's literally one of the few projects actually developing something of usefulness within the ordinal space, right?
That's right.
And
yeah,
if
we're
you
not
know anything
we're not,
about us, that's what we look for.
Yeah, we're not meme holders. Just
yeah. I mean, meme coins are cool and stuff, but like, come on, man. They just, for like a long-term longevity,
you
want to find the next graph, right, or the next chain link.
Exactly.
Right. So that's kind of like what's being built here now. There's like a whole, like so you build like the whole chain link graph, layer, but a token standard, I guess, attached to it.
Right.
Yeah, that's even more value juice, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So if you click on that tab right there, does it take you to? No, not yet. So it's gonna need to be like, how do we check to see who's minting new tokens?
BRC20 balances.
So at some point, somebody's gonna create like an aggregator, right? Where you can like see them all listed and like a rankings. Page and all that.
Yeah, agreed.
Maybe they'll do it, but until then, it's kind of hard to have like a real grasp on where we are.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because this is BRC20 mint 5 million, or is it 5,000? Yeah, 5,000. There's 49 million left. So this is like a different.
This is a different one.
Yeah,
it's called BRC20. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Damn, dude. There's all kinds of stuff happening here.
Negative tap.
Okay, it's happening, dude.
Yeah.
All right, well, shout out to Benny and Trac, dude. They're definitely doing something interesting, and we're definitely going to keep our eyes on this.
Right. Yeah, this is cool. So
look at that. DAP OBS.
Huh.
Sorry, it just stood out to me. It's a different one. Tap, negative tap.
This one.
Another BRC20. Damn, dude. There's a lot of minting happening here.
There sure is. Damn. All right. Yeah, that's it for us. Let us know if you have any questions. That was now we're getting into like the technical aspects of what's missing in the BRC20 space.
Yeah,
and I think Benny saw that, he recognized that, and built something that I think is going to be very useful for devs out there.
Yeah, and I think so. We got an interview coming up soon.
Yeah,
with the
Archimedes.
Who's part of like the Oshi Foundation team, whatever you want to call it. So. I think these are like neck and neck ecosystem competitors in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which of these are going to get developer adoption essentially to, bring about more functional utility into this BRC20 ordinal space, right?
Yeah.
It's all about who's going to cook up some DeFi first.
Yeah.
Right.
That's going to be like the next primitive. That's what we saw in Ethereum, right? Ethereum took off because DeFi and to a certain extent NFTs early on. So we expect to see that here too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So. This might be it, or maybe it'll be a boss. So we'll see.
Yeah. EVMs. All right, guys. Let us know if you have any questions. Follow us on Twitter at all our channels, and we appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.